no one really expected, I don't think, that Murray would have played in the first 4 games anyway. So that's really not that big a deal. And I think we all would imagine he misses more than those first 4 games. Let's even say that the Cardinals are in the middle of a playoff push or are in the middle of the top of the NFC West. I find it hard to believe that anybody could have really had belief that Kyler Murray would play in the first half of this season. Second half, if he was 100% and their season wasn't in the garbage, then perhaps. But the first 4 weeks, nah, and the first 8 weeks, highly unlikely, and perhaps just the entire season, considering, again, this is a young man who relies so heavily on his legs that you wouldn't want to possibly risk re-injury or permanent injury or what have you, bringing him back on a guy that tore an ACL in mid-December. The Colt McCoy part is the part that starts sniffing a little sideways. I mean, if you wanted to remain competitive, and let's just say you were the Cardinals and you said, no, we really believe that Kyler is trending in the right direction, and he's done everything in the offseason that we could have expected. Doctors are very confident in him. We think we're going to be pretty good this year. We want to have a building block of winning and success. We don't want to be hot garbage this year. We're going to have a veteran QB, give us a chance to win every game first half of the season, and then perhaps we bring in Kyler second half of the season. McCoy's that guy. Let's face it. Now, I know they now have the Browns offense in Arizona, and Josh Dobbs played in that offense. But, I mean, let's be real here. McCoy is the more stable option, the more experienced guy to run that offense, to keep their head above water if they have that possibility. And the deal is they're not going that route. And this is the beginning of the Cardinals kind of tearing up the previous regime's roster and resetting. And I think you saw that with Isaiah Simmons. The fact that they took a guy who was still in his rookie deal, who was the number 8 pick overall, and didn't even give him a shot this year to play through maybe the questions about where he really fits on a football field, and would trade him away for a 7th-round pick, which is nothing. I mean, a 7th-round pick basically means you gave him away. Suggests that they're ready to totally reboot the entire roster. And what that tells you is, drum roll please, that what they're trying to do here is not win, because they know there's Caleb Williams or Drake May at the end of this rainbow. And I'm going to tell you this right now, I don't blame them. If this is a new coaching staff and a new front office that looks at Kyler Murray and says, I don't think we can win with this guy, I don't blame him at all. If they look at him and say, he doesn't have the mentality, the professionalism, the maturity, he didn't have that to get us to the next level, I don't blame him. The red lights blink everywhere around Kyler Murray. And unlike this past April, where you had good quarterbacks, but all of them came with some type of massive question mark. The Panthers hope Bryce Young is their franchise changer. Same thing with the Colts and Anthony Richardson. Same thing with the Texans and C.J. Stroud. But the 3 of those were not ready-made franchise QBs for one reason or another. This year, Caleb Williams is one of those guys you tank for. I don't think you tank for Bryce Young, even though I like him. But Caleb Williams is a guy that you tank for. And Drake May might be the same thing. So, to me, it doesn't take telling your players we want you to lose. It just takes stripping down the roster to players who can't win. So, yeah, this is what the Cardinals are doing. And considering that last year, let's just say last year Caleb Williams was in that draft, or Andrew Luck, or Peyton Manning, or Cam Newton, or one of these guys at number 1 overall that's just a slam dunk game changer. Last year's number 1 pick in the draft came down to week 18, and Lovie Smith going for 2. So you got to lose every game. You got to take this seriously. You mess around and get a triple-double. You mess around and win a game in September because Colt McCoy leads a game-winning drive. You could have screwed yourself out of a franchise guy. Look at the Jets a couple of years ago in Trevor Lawrence. They screwed around and mistakenly won a game. I think it was, week 15 or something? And it went from, oh, we've got Trevor Lawrence to, oh, God, now what? Yeah, that's the difference. So I definitely think the Cardinals are thinking that. They don't have to tell their guys to lose. They're just going to put out a roster out there that knows that they can't win. And I don't necessarily think it's a bad decision either.